This is a production of Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
Visiting with Jacob Warren. We look forward to that as football season right around the corner. Brought to you by Vassey Lawn and Garden. Vassey Lawn and Garden. I was there the other day, and they are taking care of customers left and right with the big mowers and the blowers and the hedgers and the trimmers. They are a Toro dealer. Toro, count on it. And Jacob Warren joins us now. Jacob, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm well. So what's the rest of your summer like? Do you have another break around the 4th? Because I got to be honest with you. I'm starting to think SEC Media Days, July the 14th, that we're going to be broadcasting. Or not you, but I'm going to be broadcasting from. Right. And it feels like as of today, that football season is upon us. Like it just hit me today.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. We get a little break for the 4th, a few days off, and kind of just re-gear and get ready for everything to kind of lead up into the season. And so we'll get those couple of days, and then I mean, you have a couple of weeks of conditioning still, and then you'll start all your fall camp and start practices, and fall camp goes like that. You know what I mean? Obviously it's a struggle, but you get through it, and before you know it, it's the first week and you're getting ready to play your first game, and then it's just on the road from there. So it is right around the corner for sure.
Yeah. What are the chances you're going to be in Atlanta for SEC Media Days?
I don't know. They ain't said nothing to me yet, so we'll see. We'll see. If I'm the ones that they want to take, then I'll go with them for sure. I'd love to do it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Can I put in a word? Just reach out and say I think Jacob would be a good representation of the University of Tennessee.
If they don't know by now, then I don't know.
Well, and let's be honest, Jacob, when it comes to me helping out with sports information, I'm probably not the best suited in that department.
Never know.
To be real honest with you. Hey, so Tennessee had like this monstrous recruiting weekend this past weekend. You're a player. I don't even know if you keep track of recruiting. Probably not, but to some extent, you had to know what was going on. And I'm curious, when you go back in your recruiting days, what those weekends were like. Just suddenly being thrown in a room. If you think about it, it's bizarre.
Right.
You're thrown in a room with a group of guys that school may or may not want. They may or may not want to go to that school. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of variables that makes it seem for like a really strange environment.
Yeah, I think back when I was getting recruited, right, the outgoingness and the sociableness, I guess, I don't know if that's a word, but essentially me interacting with other players and other stuff like that was not where it is now, right? Like I just wasn't as comfortable as I am now. So it was kind of, not awkward, but it was just weird for me because I just didn't click with a bunch of people. But now I can see all these kids coming on these visits, and it seems like they make best friends, you know what I mean, on just one weekend that they're here. And then they'll follow each other on Instagram and they'll be posting with each other and stuff like that. So it's cool because I guess kind of cool. These kids, you could be on an official visit one weekend and you could end up, playing on the other side of the ball, against the kid the next year. You know what I mean? He could be the DB, I could be the receiver. And so it's cool that it gives you an opportunity to kind of, I guess, build relationships with people that you're going to be playing against potentially. I think recruiting is a super weird thing, but I think it's a great opportunity for the kids. And it's exciting too. Like you said, you kind of just get thrown in there, but you're doing all kinds of cool activities and get to see what everything's all about. So it's cool for sure.
Are there any players out there? Because I tend to, people ask me, who do you root for? And you're probably like this too. I tend to root for people I know. I mean, I don't care. I grew up a Cowboys fan, but I don't care if they play for the Redskins. If Eric Berry restarted his career as the Redskins, I'm an Eric Berry fan. So are there guys that maybe you got to know on a personal level that play at other SEC schools that you're kind of happy when they have a good day as long as it's not against you?
Yeah. So I met a kid at one of the All-American game that I played at in New Orleans. His name's DeAndre Square. He plays middle linebacker for Kentucky. And he's been starting and playing pretty much since the day he stepped on campus. And so it's cool for me to just be like, wow, that's cool. Every single time we play against each other, it's always we're competing and we're whatever on the field. We're trying to kill each other, right? And then after the game or just after a play, we'll dap each other up and just say what's up. And There's a couple people just around the conference, and there's a lot of people that are at non-conference schools that I know just because I played with them in the area and stuff. But it's good to see, like I know a few people at ETSU, and it's good to see all the success that they were able to have last year, and yeah, just different things like that. It makes it easy to kind of root for some other teams that you may not have any connection to prior.
Well, there's a lot of guys from the West Knoxville days, whether it's the major leagues with Ben Joyce or whether it's the guys that went to Catholic or Farragut. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have gone on to have continued success. That's pretty neat to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, even when like Cooper's brother Cade, even when he was at Georgia, like I built a good relationship with him because one, we both from Knoxville and we were working out together, training together. But two, like we came on these recruiting visits together, and he makes a decision to go to Georgia, and like who am I to be like, oh, I'm not friends with you anymore because you're going to Georgia? You know what I mean? Like, no, it's still cool. Every single time that we would play them, they came up here, and we get to chop it up after the game and just kind of follow each other. And yeah, it's definitely cool to see the success and to kind of think about other people looking in at what you got going on social media or whatever, and then being like, wow, I'm happy for him or whatever. So it's cool.
I can't imagine going through that whole process being as highly recruited as Cade was and having a tie to the university because I've known his dad for a number of years,
Right.
and you kind of have a feel for that because your dad and uncle both played at Tennessee. That I mean that's got to add some thought to whatever the decision is, right? I mean that's got to play into it.
I think if you do it the right way, and like if your parents or your whoever it is that you feel that obligation to, I guess, if they're really clear about the fact that like obviously, like my dad was pretty straight up, right? He said, obviously, dude, I want you to stay in Knoxville because that's where we are, right? I want you to be around. I want to, like, it would be cool to be able to just go up the road, but truthfully, it was my decision at the end of the day. And him and my mom, they were the ones that took me to all my visits. They were the ones that emphasized, like, hey, no, go to that visit at South Carolina, go to Oregon, go to Kentucky, go to Louisville, like make sure we're branching out so that they just didn't want to sell me short, I guess, and make me feel pressured. So they did a good job in that. I don't know how it is with other people, Cooper Cade, like all of them. I don't know how it was, but at least in my house, they were very adamant about not just locking in Tennessee just because he played here or because it's the hometown school, just because I don't know. You just kind of setting yourself up for failure at that point if you're making decisions on things like that. So.
If you're out there listening or watching, if you could do me a favor and like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, then you'll get early notifications coming down the line. So where would Jacob have gone? Who was second if he didn't go to Tennessee? I'll ask him that back in 30 seconds. Brought to you by Vassey Lawn and Garden.
To own the more that owns every job, then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
So where would Jacob Warren have gone had things not worked out at Tennessee? Either you made the decision or they did, whatever. Okay, where would you have gone?
It's hard to tell, honestly, because I never really came down to like a top 3. It was pretty clear for me that Tennessee was where I wanted to be, but I was super interested in South Carolina. I took a lot of visits to South Carolina. I really liked Louisville. I went over to Vanderbilt a couple times just because that was, I guess, kind of close, and SEC schools too. But it was weird. It was kind of more like Tennessee and then like a few other schools rather than Tennessee and this one. It was never really like a choice between the two. It was kind of just knew this is kind of where I wanted to be, and all the other ones just kind of fell back, I guess.
So you didn't put some crazy Instagram out there with you in 3 different uniforms?
Not me. not with all of that, and no question marks on my jersey with all the color. No, none of that. Just, hey guys, I'm coming there, so get ready, I guess.
Do you sit back, even being a young guy in your early 20s, and say, man, These kids are really taking themselves pretty seriously in recruiting.
I get it, man. I don't know. No comment, I guess, but I understand. I feel like we've talked about it before. Like that's kind of how you're conditioned whenever you're a 16, 17-year-old kid and you have all these kids coming and you know, like literally kids your same age talking about how good you are and everything. And then you have these adults who they're talking about how good you are and how much, potential you have. And, um, getting offers is cool, right? Like it's awesome being able to post on your Instagram or your social media, like, hey, I got an offer from Tennessee. I got an offer from whoever. And it's a cool thing. And it's not a lot of, not something a lot of people get to do. So I think that is what causes it and creates it. I don't think it's necessary, but that's just me, I guess.
We're only talking about 5 years ago, but was there the connection out there among recruits like there is now? It seems like they're all, like you said, best friends because of social media and that sort of thing. Was there that type of connection prevalent in your recruitment?
I mean, yeah, we still have, not still, but we had for a long time like a group chat of on Snapchat or whatever with like all of the Tennessee commits, I guess, and recruits, the guys that we really thought were locked in to come here. So as far as our signing class and stuff, we were pretty tight. We talked about a lot of stuff, but I guess never really made big connections with people at other visits, just because, like I said, like when I went, I would usually be with my mom or with my dad, and like we were truly just enjoying the time, just being there and hanging out with the players that were there, the coaches, and trying to take it all in and try to make it. Like I'm not too worried about getting to know this kid. I'm more programs you got, what do you do at practice, like what is what I mean. I'm trying, like we were worried about different things other than trying to be friends with all the recruits. So I think I don't know. That's kind of how I went about it, but it's definitely different now. There's these kids are like they're all just best friends with each other, and they see each other at all these games and stuff. And I love it. I think it's great, but that's just not how I was.
Talking to Cooper before I talked to you, Cooper Mays, he had said also that really when the star rankings are out there, that's all well and good, but he said he doesn't even know who's ranked what before he sees film of them and before he sees them play. I mean, that stuff doesn't matter to you guys when they show up on campus, does it?
No, and that's what I'll tell any recruit that I'm hosting or that I'm hanging out with. Like, look, man, I get this is what everyone's talking about, and I'm happy that you're a 4-star. I'm happy you're a 5-star, and I'm happy you're a 3-star because I was a 3-star, right? And it seems like everyone is hating on 3-stars. 3-stars are great. Like 3-stars are still really good players, but it's a matter of understanding that doesn't matter here. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter the day you step on campus and you're not in high school anymore. Like those rankings don't matter, and those rankings have no bearing on how good you're going to be or if you're going to play or if anyone's going to like you. You know what I mean? It's a completely different world, and so I think the quicker that kids can understand that and get over the past, I guess, get over the rankings, the better off they'll be in the college game.
There also seems to be, and I say this from afar, but talking to you guys and some other people behind the scenes, I mean, there seems to be a really good chemistry here. Yeah. So with you guys and your team. So how important is it that somebody does come in with the right attitude and doesn't disrupt that? Because you guys are in good shape now.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where if you do come in and you do corrupt it, like you said, and you become like a danger to what we got going on here, like it's not that you have to leave, but it's you got to kind of whip it into shape. You know what I mean? Like no one's really going to deal with somebody coming in and trying to change the culture, trying to ruin the culture. And that's, I think, just kind of a testament to kind of a lot of the older guys on the team and guys that were here before us, right? Like this team has really started to change, in the locker room just the past few years since I've been here. And it's not just us. It's not just like I'm saying like I'm the one that changed it, but like this has kind of been in the works for multiple years now. So I think just the quicker a kid can realize that they're a small fish in a big pond, right? And they're just kind of trying to find their way. Like you can't, I don't know. I'm not trying to say people can't be individuals, not trying to say people can't express themselves however they want, but you also there's a pecking order. You also kind of have to fall in line, and you gotta just just get along. And if you don't, then I'm sorry, there's probably not. You're really not going to be comfortable here because everyone's going to be, whatever, or you're just going to have to leave, right? And that's just how it is everywhere around the country. If you come in and you're disruptive and you can't follow the rules and you can't get along with people, then you're just going to have problems.
Yep. You also said something pretty interesting there about just the way I think 3-star players come in. And again, the rankings don't matter when you get to college, but I would think with the 3-star guys, that's probably a bit of a chip on your shoulder with another 5-star guy lined up across from you. Is that motivation?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like as much as they don't matter, I think they kind of make who you are, right? And I think I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but it's I guess silly. It's silly of me as a 3-star, right, to think that I'm not, like I'm not blessed to have the 3 stars, right? Like I deserve more, or whatever. Because there's people with no stars that are like probably just as good as me. You know what I mean? That are like, well, I would love to have 3 stars. Like, why are you complaining about 3 stars? And that's great. And so I think that's what causes it. That's what stinks about it, is that you label everybody and all of a sudden this kid's better than this kid just because of what freaking whoever says. And so I think that's a weird concept. But I think, yeah, coming in as a 3-star, you're kind of like, you can either take it like, oh, okay, I'm not as good as you because you're a 5-star, or you can be like, no, like they were wrong about the rankings. Like I'm just as good, if it's not better than you, and I'm going to show you that. So it's kind of just how you're wired, I guess, and how you look at it.
You talk about changing the culture, and you said years. So I'm just going to check on something. Josh Heupel has been around for roughly a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So was that something that the leadership of the team, as far as the culture, tried to change even before there was a coaching change?
Yeah, I mean, there's like, okay, so I'll tell a story, right? Marquez Callaway was here. He was a younger guy when I was being recruited here, and every single time that I might have told this before, every building on a recruit visit, or if I was just here watching practice, whatever, like Marquez specifically would take the time to come over, say, hey, like, introduce himself to my mom, and like make sure that everyone was cool, like everyone was good, everyone was having a good time, whatever. And like that's just an example. But then like guys like Jawan Jennings, guys like Nigel Warrior, like Shai Tuttle, even Jared Garantano, like these guys, as much as the program was where it was, like these guys were in the locker room, like enforcing things, right? Making sure that things were going the right way, making sure that things were done the right way, the way that the coaches were asking, and just kind of the way that everyone expected it to be. So that's what I mean by these guys kind of laid the groundwork, because I'm looking at Nigel Warrior, who, like, will enforce the rules at any expense, right? He will do whatever if he feels like you are slighting the team, or like you're not cooperating, whatever. Like he's gonna let you know about it. And so I think that like looking at that, kind of learning from that, now stepping into that role, I'm not a super confrontational person, but I understand that things have to be done a certain way, and somebody has to enforce it. So
Who would have been more upset if you chose South Carolina or another school over Tennessee? Would it have been your mom or your dad?
I don't know, probably my mom, because my mom, I see her still say like about it once every week, and I don't know, she likes to see all of her kids, so she's probably the happiest that I stayed.
All right, tell her you said hello, because I know she watches every week, because she's nice enough to retweet and like. So go ahead and tell her hello.
What's up, Mama? I love you. Love you too, Dad. Y'all watch it.
Good stuff. All right. Great stuff with Jacob Warren, as always, brought to you by Vassey Lawn and Garden. Vassey Lawn and Garden right there in Cleveland. Man alive, it's worth the drive. I don't care if you're coming from the West Knoxville area or all the way down in Chattanooga, because they've got Toro. Toro, count on it. They've got the hedgers, the trimmers. They've got the big steering wheel mowers that you don't just find anywhere else. 20,000 parts in stock, EETC certified technicians. They're just awesome. So check them out. They do the financing and everything. That's Vassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. This has been a production of Off the Hook Sports.